All right, so working on rational exponents here. Okay, so fraction exponents. And the main thing you want to keep in mind here is that when you have these fraction exponents, so we have some number x, it's always the power in the numerator and the root in the denominator. Okay, so things like if we had like a square root of x, that's x to the 1/2. Cube root of x is x to the 1/3. Fourth root of x is x to the 1/4, and you get the idea there. Okay, so most of the time we're going to see square roots, cube roots, fourth roots. There's a fifth root here. We'll see some of those, but not too many. So that's x to the 1/5. All right, and when you see like a fraction with a numerator other than 1, so something like x to the 3/2. Okay, well, it's always the root in the denominator, so it's a square root of x. I always like to do the root first, and then it would be to the 3rd power. You could also have it written like this. You could have the power inside the radical. It doesn't matter, but it's all the same thing. So it's always the power in the numerator and the root in the denominator. So 64 to the 1/2 power. So that's a square root. So square root of 64 is 8. Next up, we got a cube root. Cube root of 1,000 is just 10. Ones are easy. 1 to any power, 1 to any root is always going to be 1. But just get the practice in writing this out. We're going to have a fifth root of 1. That's just 1. 49 to the 1/2 is the square root of 49. So we get 7. 32 to the 1/5, so it's going to be the fifth root of 32 is 2. 256. 256 to the 1/4 is going to be the fourth root of 256. So that's going to be 4. All right, 8 to the 1/3 is 2. The cube root of 8 is 2. Square root of 16 is 4. So we had 2 plus 4 is 6. Square root of 121 is 11. 27 to the 1/3 is 3. So it's going to be 14. 32 to the 1/5 is 2. 1 to the 1/2 is just 1. That's the square root of 1. So 2 plus 1 is 3. Fourth root of 81 is 3. 16 to the 1/4 is 2. The fourth root is 16, so 3 minus 2 is 1. All right, so next up we got 144 to the 1/2 power, so square root of 144 is 12. Cube root of 125 is 5, so 12 minus 5 is 7. Fourth root of 625 is 5. Square root of 0 is just 0. So 5 minus 0 is 5. So remember, it's always the power divided by the root. And when you're doing these, you're looking over these notes and you're doing the problems, I always like to do the root first. Keep the numbers smaller. You think about the example that we have here. 125 to the 4/3 power. You could certainly do 125 to the 4th power, but that's going to be an enormous number. And then take the third root. If you take the cube root right away, you get 5, and then 5 to the 4th is 625. It's a manageable number. So that's why I always do the root first, then the power. All right, so root first, then the power. So let's go through those problems then. 4 to the 3/2 power, so we're going to take the square root of 4 and get 2. Then I have 2 to the 3rd is 8. That's a bad looking 3 there. Ooh. (16 to the 3/4), so the 4th root of 16 is 2. So we got 2 to the 3rd is 8. 32 to the 2/5, so the 5th root of 32, I can write this out, I should be writing it out, is going to be 2. So then I have 2 squared is 4. Look, 1 to any power is just 1, so you're over and done. Doesn't matter what this exponent is, positive, negative, fraction, whatever. It's always going to be 1. So we got the cube root of 27 to the 4th power. Cube root of 27 is 3. So then I have 3 to the 4th is going to be 81. So we have the square root of 100. To the 3rd power then. Square root of 100 is 10. 10 times 10 is 100. So we got 10 to the 3rd power. 1,000. So we got the cube root of 8 squared. So cube root of 8 is 2, and then we have 2 squared. 2 squared is 4. 81 to the 5/4, so it's going to be the 4th root of 81. And then raise it to the 5th. 4th root of 81 is 3. To the 5th is going to be 243. Uh, 28 to the 3/7 power, so it's going to be the 7th root of 128. So 7th root of 128 is 3. So I have 3 to the 3rd is 27. Fourth root of 16 to the 5th power then. Whoops, forgot the 5th power there. So it's going to be 2 to the 5th is 32. So this is going to be a square root of 49 to the 3rd power. Square root of 49 is 7, so then that means I have 7 to the third. 7 to the third is 343. And last up here, we have the cube root of 8 to the 8th power then. So this is going to end up being cube root of 8 is 2, so then I have 2 to the 8th is 256.